Hey friend, this is Mai with Creative Vibes Music Therapy, and today I want to talk about how we can utilize music to manage our anxiety, how we can utilize music in our own self-care practices. And this topic is really important to me. I think that because so many of us, we all have some sort of emotional response to music. If we are more able to mindfully understand those responses, then we can really harness the power of music to our advantage. So first, I want to talk about how music can affect our mood. And then after that, I want to touch on a couple different music therapy informed techniques that we can utilize in our own time to utilize music in our self-care practices. So how does music affect our mood? Just listening to music produces dopamine, which controls the reward centers in our brain. It's so crazy because just listening has that effect. We don't even need to be playing or making music at all. Music also lowers both our physical and emotional pain perception, and there's a couple different theories on why that happens. One theory is that music can just be a distraction from the pain. And another theory suggests that because music has this rhythmic structure, it helps us release tension and also provides a stimulus for deep breathing, which is all leads to better pain management. Music also represents emotional states in us and can increase emotional understanding in us and others. So that can also help provide a space where words fail, another way that music can potentially help us manage our pain. We all have really strong emotional memories connected to our music. It was shown that emotional memory is connected to our amygdala, our hippocampus, and our prefrontal cortex. And those are all areas in our brain that light up when we listen to or play music. One study examined the content of music-evoked autobiographical memories. So they just took a bunch of popular music and played them for the people in the study. And on average, 30% of this music evoked some sort of emotional response in them. Most of the emotions that were evoked were primarily positive, and the third most common emotion was nostalgia. It's also suggested that music can actually trigger our implicit memory, which is our unconscious memory, which is why sometimes when we listen to a song, we have these feelings of nostalgia. Another really cool music fact is that humans are the only species who experience entrainment. And entrainment is when your heartbeat or your breath rate or your foot can actually match the beat of the music. Humans are the only species in the whole world that can do that, and that is just crazy to me. This is where the music therapy concept known as the ISO principle comes in, where we can take music and match it to a person's current heartbeat or state, and then slowly bring them, using the beat of the music, changing the beat of the music to bring them to a state of rest or calm. This is why we play lullabies for newborns to help them sleep, and also why we play upbeat, fast music when we're trying to work out and get in an upbeat mood. So how can we utilize our own music in our self-care practices? The first step that I usually tell my clients is that we really have to start listening to our music mindfully. When I say mindfully, I really mean taking a look at the music that you listen to and examining, why are you choosing this song in this moment? How does this song make you feel in your body? How is your breath rate? How is your heart? What thoughts are going through your mind while you're listening to your music? I encourage my clients to journal about it. I often do that for myself as well. When we are able to understand how our music is affecting us, then we can really harness that power and utilize it to our best advantage. Another thing that I do like to remind my clients is that music is really powerful, and it can be powerful both negatively and positively, and it is possible to be utilizing music in a negative way. For example, I had one client who had a certain playlist that they would listen to when they were feeling down, and instead of helping them validate their feelings, it actually put them down deeper and deeper into this hole that they couldn't get out of. So that's one example of how music can be utilized negatively. Now, I don't mean to say that music with sad undertones can make you feel worse. If you're able to listen to those songs and they make you feel validated and they make you feel less alone, then by all means go for it. This is something that's different for every person, and only you can know how your music is truly affecting you. So once you're really listening to your music mindfully and understand how your music is affecting you, then what I would suggest is creating a playlist. And this is based on entrainment, based on the music therapy principle known as the ISO principle. So first, what I like to ask is, can you think of some times where you were in a certain state of mind or in a certain place emotionally and you knew that this wasn't serving you and you wanted to be in a different place? For example, for me, I have times where I feel really anxious and stressed, and I know that that anxiety or stress is not actually serving me, it's actually making me function less well. So in that instance, I would create a playlist, and for that playlist, the music at the beginning would start in the state that you are in, where you want to change. Gradually, throughout that playlist, you'll start changing the music to match where you want to be at the end of the playlist. So, for example, for me, if I were in an anxious state, it would start with music that reminds me of anxiety. And then at the end, where I would want to be is calm, serene. So what's some music that I listen to that reminds me of those states? And then what would go in between? What is the process of moving from anxiety to calm or serene? You can use this for all different things, for any time that you want to move from one place to another. For example, if you're feeling sluggish and you want to feel more upbeat because you're going to work out later, then you can make a playlist that goes from sluggish to more upbeat. There's so many different ways that you can utilize this technique. Another music therapy informed technique that I think anybody can do at home are breathing exercises. And there's a really popular breathing exercise known as the 4x7x8. And this is where you breathe in for 4 beats, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8. And you can repeat this as many times as you want. And deep breathing has been clinically shown to aid in anxiety and managing anxiety symptoms. You can do this with any song that you have, and what I usually suggest is a BPM of about 60 or 50, whatever you feel, where you feel you're not hyperventilating, but you're also not holding your breath for so long that it feels like you're about to burst. Sometimes when I'm utilizing this technique for myself, I like to think of words that I'm breathing in and out. For example, I'm breathing in love and compassion, and I'm breathing out love and compassion for the world. But you know what's best for you, and you can think of words that will work best for you as well. Another technique that I think anybody can utilize at home is just singing and playing music. And I want to stop you right there. If you're saying, I can't sing, I can't play an instrument, that's not the point. Anybody can utilize their voice, and singing reduces anxiety and stress levels. It increases oxytocin levels. You can just sing in your car or sing in a place where nobody can listen to you. The point is that you are utilizing music to take care of yourself. For me, this is really corny, but I love Broadway. I've loved Broadway since I was born. And what I love to do is I have a playlist. It's called Can You Belt or Can You Belt? And it's a playlist of all these Broadway songs that I really, really love. And singing is so cathartic. The last technique that I want to share with you all is called lyric analysis and a rewrite. And this is something that I utilize a lot in sessions. So I think this is fun to do on your own, but it is really fun if you can get a group of your friends, choose a song together, talk about it, and then rewrite it. And then you guys can share your verses and talk about how you wrote your own personal experiences into it. Right now, I want to share one song called Pompeii by Bastille. I did this with a group and they were kind enough to let me share some of their lyrics. So first I want to share the original lyrics. Then I want to talk about what we discussed and how they attributed it to their own experiences, and then share a few of their verses as well. So this is the original, and it goes, But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? If you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? So we discussed these lines specifically. They talked about how we can rise over the walls tumbling down and how we can always return to our inner truth, which I thought was incredible. A really great analysis of this. And then I asked them to rewrite these lyrics on their own time. They took about 5 or 10 minutes, and this is part of what they came up with. But if you close your eyes, you would almost think that nothing could get worse. If you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you're smiling though it hurts? How am I gonna ever wrap my head around this? How am I gonna ever talk to anyone about this? So, as you can see, you don't even have to change around a ton of the words, and you don't have to completely write a whole new verse. All you really need to do is pick and choose some of the words that you do want to change. So that's just a really quick overview of how music can affect our mood and how we can utilize music in our own self-care practices. I know I went through this really fast, so if you have any questions or if you want to add any other ways that you've been able to utilize music in your own self-care practices, feel free to drop a comment. I love learning more about what you guys are up to. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe. Hope to see you next time. Bye!